Good morning, guys. How are you doing? Yeah. 9 o'clock's the toughest class. Wish they started at 10. I'd like to start at 10. Sleep in a little more, right? Wouldn't that be sweet? I think it'd be sweet. Apparently everybody else in your class thinks it'd be sweet as well, since they're all still in bed. or something like that. Anyway. Well, guys, should we hang out a little longer and wait for them? See if they'll join us? Yeah. Thank you guys for being on time. I appreciate that. You know what? I think I'll do extra credit. Would you like extra credit today? Yeah? All right. I'll give you extra credit for being on time today, since it's not a high thing today, apparently. So you stick that in your points for the day. Sure. All right. That might be valuable later. Never know. Hopefully not. You guys do pretty well, to be honest. Maybe we should start with the video first, just so you guys have something to do. I was gonna, we're gonna start Antigone today. This is plaything in here. Oh, there it is. And maybe we'll do the video first. They'll just miss the video, which is a bummer for them because it is helpful. But there we go. All right, let's start with the video first, gentlemen.
Let's review some of the characters in Sophocles' Antigone. Antigone is Oedipus' daughter and the niece of Creon, who is the new king of Thebes. Antigone is also engaged to Creon's son, Haemon. She defies Creon's order that her brother Polynices' body remain unburied, even though the punishment is death. She believes that honoring the gods is more important than mortal laws, and she admits that she's prepared to die for this belief. After she's caught burying her brother, she defies Creon, who sentences her to be shut in a cave and left to die. Haemon comes to rescue her, but she is already changed. Ismene, Antigone's sister, refuses to help Antigone bury their brother for fear of the punishment attached to disobeying Creon's proclamation. She believes enough tragedy has befallen her family. But when Antigone is caught burying and giving funeral rites to Polynices, Ismene falsely confesses to having coached her. She does this out of loyalty and love for her sister. Antigone refuses to let this lie stand, as it might offend the gods. Creon is Oedipus' brother, Antigone and Ismene's uncle, and Haemon's father. He is also the newly appointed king of Thebes, and he believes that his laws are the ultimate authority. He disagrees with Antigone's justifications for burying her brother, and his arrogance results in the deaths of everyone he loves. Haemon. Son of Creon and Eurydice, Haemon is engaged to marry Antigone. Haemon advises Creon to be lenient with Antigone, since the citizens of Thebes do not support Creon's decision. Haemon ultimately disowns his father and dies by his own hand, angry and distraught over Antigone's death. The chorus. Composed of a group of elderly male citizens and a leader who speaks for them, the chorus offers narration and judgments about the characters' actions. At first deferential toward the new king, the chorus eventually tries to persuade.
My screen sharing was saying that was paused. Were you guys seeing the video and hearing it?
I was hearing the video. Didn't see that.
Oh. Yeah, for some reason it said that it paused it on me for some reason. Let me see what's up with it. Let's try again. You see it now?
Yeah.
Did you miss most of it?
Yeah.
Yeah, oh, that's a shame. All right, I'll go back then. And let's see if this will stay moving correctly this time. All right, so this is just introducing Antigone. All of the characters who are going to be Antigone, we're going to take parts in this play because there are different parts for us to be able to read. So right now I'm introducing to you the characters. So you'll be thinking about which character you might like to be. So you'll get a little bit of a heads up of what that character, what its future will hold for it anyways. So we'll go ahead and start this again, and hopefully that screen share will work all the way through this time. I'm sorry about that.
Let's review some of the characters in Sophocles' Antigone. Antigone is Oedipus' daughter and the niece of Creon, who is the new king of Thebes. Antigone is also engaged to Creon's son, Haemon. She defies Creon's order that her brother Polynices' body remain unburied, even though the punishment is death. She believes that honoring the gods is more important than mortal laws, and she admits that she's prepared to die for this belief. After she's caught burying her brother, she defies Creon, who sentences her to be shut in a cave and left to die. Haemon comes to rescue her, but she is already killed. Ismene, Antigone's sister, refuses to help Antigone bury their brother for fear of the punishment attached to disobeying Creon's proclamation. She believes enough tragedy has befallen her family. But when Antigone is caught burying and giving funeral rites to Polynices, Ismene falsely confesses to having helped her. She does this out of loyalty and love for her sister. Antigone refuses to let this lie stand, as it might offend the gods. Creon is Oedipus' brother, Antigone and Ismene's uncle, and Haemon's father. He is also the newly appointed king of Thebes, and he believes that his laws are the ultimate authority. He disagrees with Antigone's justification for burying her brother, and his arrogance results in the deaths of everyone he loves. Haemon. Son of Creon and Eurydice, Haemon is engaged to marry Antigone. Haemon advises Creon to be lenient with Antigone, since the citizens of Thebes do not support Creon's decision. Haemon ultimately disowns his father and dies by his own hand, angry and distraught over Antigone's death. The chorus. Composed of a group of elderly male citizens and a leader who speaks for them, the chorus offers narration and judgments about the characters' actions. At first deferential toward the new king, the chorus eventually tries to persuade him to moderate his harsh rulings and to heed Tiresias' advice.
All right. Okay, so quick question for you guys. Oh. All right, let's figure out how to close that down. Let's pause that. Okay. So quick question for you guys. Can you hear all that when I have that playing? Is that something that everybody had, or I'm sorry, different question. So I'm not sure how the students are seeing this view when I play these videos. When I have like the chat box up, are you seeing the chat box on this when I screen share?
They like shows a visible black spot.
Okay, so I'll be sure I pull everything down. I'm just trying to keep up with who's popping in since everybody came in kind of late today. So next time when we show a video, I'll pop all that stuff down so you don't see it. I wasn't quite sure how much of what's showing on my screen you see. Okay, so we'll be sure to change that. All right, Andrew, good to have you with us this morning now. And Janice, glad you were able to join us as well. All right, so we're still looking for the no bats this morning. And Elizabeth. And Matthias. All right, guys, so listen, it's really important that you show up for classes on time. I did not start there. All right, so I muted everybody, but for some reason somebody's still not muted. Let me go. There we go. I'll change it up just to take control of all that. There we go. All right, so it's really important that when you guys come into class, that you come in on time. That way we can get started on time. All right, if you start coming late, regularly, I think I'm gonna start just docking some participation points. Today I gave extra credit for 2 people who showed up right on time. They were here right at 9 o'clock. So I gave extra credit to them today. So if you'd like to earn some extra credit in the future, if we're gonna continue being late, maybe I'll make that something available sometimes. You won't know when it'll be available. It'll most likely be available when the most of you aren't showing up. All right, so just so you know. So if you'd like to be one of those possibly getting interpreted in the future, be sure you're on time in case there's an opportunity for that to happen. All right, so again, our participation grades are showing up, audio and video working, and of course, you're participating throughout the class itself. So again, be sure you're here on time. All right, so let's go ahead and do a little bit of grammar. First, I'm going to come back to our literature because I have a few more videos we want to read. We're going to start this new play called Antigone. So that's a big thing. And we've got a bunch of characters in there. We're going to each take some characters and hopefully we'll do a little bit of class reading together and enjoy some different character interaction in that. And then I have a lot of little different videos we can show us a little bit about each scene as we go along, so you kind of know what to anticipate, what's coming up, what's going on in the play. You know, it's a little bit, it's British, so there's a little bit of things, you know, you have a hard time understanding sometimes, or it's older anyways. So therefore you have a little bit of a hard time sometimes comprehending everything that's being said. So I'm hoping that those little video clips will help us have a better understanding of what's going on. All right, but at this moment, let's start on page 261 first in your grammar book. Let's get a little bit of grammar done first. So 261, we're going to begin there. We're going to just kind of, on our screen, I'm going to just review a little bit again about our phrases. We have prepositional phrases. These are the preposition, its noun and its objects, pronoun, object, and all of its modifiers. They can be used as adverbs or adjective phrases. We have infinitive phrases now. Well, still. Infinitive phrases begin with the word to, plus any complements or its modifiers. And you need to remember that an infinitive phrase functions as a noun, adverb, or an adjective. So remember, it can do all three of those. A gerund phrase, remember it ended in ing. The phrase consists of the gerund, that verbal ending in ing looks like a verb, but it's not a verb, ends in ing, plus its complements or its modifiers, and it functions only as a noun phrase. Remember that gerunds function as nouns only. A participial phrase, however, ends in ing as well, or d, ed, t, or en. It consists of that word plus its complements and modifiers, and it functions as an adjective phrase only. So you want to keep that in mind. We have the prepositional phrase, adverb or adjective, infinitive phrase, functioned as a noun, adverb, or an adjective, and then we come down to the gerunds are only noun phrases, and participles are only adjective phrases. So you want to be sure to keep that in mind. We're going to do page 261 at this moment, exercise A and B. Exercise A and B. And your goal is to underline the prepositional phrases in exercise A, and then decide whether it's playing the role of an adjective or an adverb. An adjective or an adverb can be either one, so you decide what it's actually modifying. Then you get to exercise B, underline the infinitive phrase. And infinitives, again, begin with the word to, but they're not a preposition because there's not a noun after it. There's a verbal after it. So to is what it begins with. And then you need to decide, once you find that phrase, what is it modifying? And again, it could play the role of a noun, adverb, or an adjective. So be sure you're paying attention to that. Those are a little tricky. So B is a little bit more complicated. So let's see how much of that you guys can figure out. So I'm going to give you, let's do about 5 minutes. 5 minutes to work on exercise A and B. When you finish, put a thumbs up in your box so I know that you're finished. And then we're going to answer those together in class. For those of you who are watching YouTube Live, we're going to seat work time. So you have 5 minutes working on page 261, exercise A and B. Alexa, stop. Guys, my YouTube sign. All right, so how did it go? Seem a little complicated or seem not too bad? Hopefully it's getting a little bit easier. All right, well, let's hope it's easier. So let's go ahead and see how your answers are turning out. So number one, let's start with, I'll just start with first in my screen and work my way over. So James Jacker, number one, why don't you tell us what you underlined and what you decided that prepositional phrase was, what role it was playing in a sentence. All right, through 3 states is one of them, yes. And what role did you decide it's playing?
Adverb.
Good, right, it is an adverb. And then there are also a couple others. Do you see the other 2 prepositional phrases in there?
In 1925.
I good at 1925 is always a preposition. And what's it doing?
Adjective. Adverb.
Yeah, adverb, answering the question when. Right. And then what's our other one?
On record.
Good, on record. And what role is it playing?
Adjective.
Right, perfect. An adjective. Good job, good job. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, Daniel, you're next in my screen. So Daniel.
Other countries, different states.
All right, perfect. And it's playing the role of what?
Adjective.
Good, an adjective. And then one more? Actually, 2 more, sorry.
On the continent.
Mm-hmm.
And then adverb.
Perfect. And the next one?
Of North America.
Uh-huh.
It's also adverb.
Actually not this one.
Oh, it's an adjective.
It's obviously got to do, so it's an adjective. It's an adjective because it's going back to describing content right in front of it. All right, so the adverb is describing, on the continent is describing are located, and then of North America is going right up to on the continent. Okay, so which continent? The one of North America. All right, good job. Number 3, Venetius, you're next. What did you find?
In the United States Senate.
Good, and its role?
Adjective.
Not quite. Can you think of what else it might be modifying? Okay, so this one's a little tricky because it's kind of going all the way back. Like in the United States, that from each state. So from each state, let's look at that phrase first, then we'll go back and work our way backwards. So from each state is another prepositional phrase, right, Venetius?
Yeah.
And what did you decide that one was?
That one's an adjective.
Right, 'cause it's modifying too, correct? Right, now which, what's coming from these 2 states we have in the United Senate, that's what's coming from these states. 2 of them are coming from there. So that's kind of complicated. Let's make that an adverb describing an adjective way back there. That's a tricky one. They really mixed that one up for you. All right, number 4, Janice. What did you find?
It's an ocean, and it's an adjective,
Good, right. And one more?
and of the United States, and that's also an adjective.
Right, both of them are adjectives today. Good job. Andrew, last one, number 5, exercise A.
There's others with and opportunities to have that advantages,
Correct?
and then that goes to rich. No, wait, people. Because
It doesn't go all the way up to people. It does describe, though, rich, like you said. Rich is our predicate adjective describing the people. So this adverb and the opportunities and advantages is describing what kind of rich. So you're right, it's an adverb describing that adjective right in front of it, rich. So you were right to say adverb. And rich was correct, because rich is an adjective. And adverbs modify adjectives, adverbs, and verbs, right? All right, now there's one more prepositional phrase. Do you see the other one?
within the United States,
Good, and what is that modifying?
people.
Not quite.
Living.
Right, living, making it an adverb. Living where? Within the United States. Where is our question? Adverb question. All right, so they are a little tricky, distinguishing these two things. So hopefully we'll keep practicing and making these better. That's my goal for the rest of the school year, is telling you the difference between an adverb phrase and an adjective phrase. They are tricky. Adjectives seem a little bit easier to notice. Adverbs are a little harder. Just finding the right question to ask is what makes it hard to locate, I think, an adverb sometimes. Decide what is really modifying. So we'll keep practicing. We'll keep practicing to get better. All right, exercise B. Thank you, Andrew. Next person in my frame is Yana. So Yana, exercise B, number 1, you need to underline infinitive phrases and then tell us what they are.
So I underlined to bury Caesar,
Good.
and I underlined to praise him,
Mm-hmm.
and I said that to bury Caesar would be an adjective.
Well, it's not describing the subject I. Right. It's describing to what extent or why you're coming. So you're coming to do what? To bury Caesar and to praise him. So both of those are describing why you're coming, which is the verb. Come is the verb. Right? You see that? Okay, so both of these are describing why you're coming. So that makes them adverbs. Okay, so actually both adverbs. Okay? All right, Abby, number 2, please. Would you mind unmuting yourself, please? Thank you.
So I underlined.
Yep.
Okay. So I underlined to attend, and that's now.
Right, the whole phrase.
To attend and to Virginia.
Right, that's actually the entire infinitive phrase. That's the whole subject. So underlining all that one time is a noun, technically. Now, if you wanted to be deeper, we were looking just for infinitive phrases, but inside your infinitive phrase, do you see the prepositional phrase?
In Virginia.
Right, good. In Virginia is describing where Hampton Institute is located. So good job with that. All right, Elizabeth, it's good to have you with us. In the future, why don't you try to be on time? All right, we were talking about that earlier because a lot of people were kind of late today. So try to be on time.
The link wasn't working for me, so I just went on the live for the beginning of the class. And
Oh.
then one of the classmates told me that I should copy and paste it on Google.
Oh, huh.
And then it worked. Yeah. It only
Okay.
worked after I did that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, Yana.
So that happened to me too. I think you put it under the wrong date because it had April 1st, or like it had to April 1st.
Okay, I might have. I was trying to do that really fast this morning because I have to type in the YouTube in a different spot. Oh, maybe I did make that mistake. I'm sorry, guys. Sorry I made that complicated. Thank you for telling me that. I'll try to pay better attention. Sorry about that.
Remember number 3?
Yes.
To buy a brown tie.
Good. And what does that modify? Or what is its role?
He went where? Is it an adverb?
Yeah, it's an adverb. Good. And then do you see the other one?
To match his new brown suit.
Mm-hmm.
Is that an adjective?
Good. It is. It is because that's going back to this tie. All right. Good job. That was a tricky one. All right. Number 4. Let's see. Actually, I think I've gone through all of you. Yeah. So let me just go ahead and give you the next couple answers so we can move into our literature. Number 4, you should have underlined to become president at a moment's notice. That was playing an adverb role for must be ready. Number 5, to visit in Virginia, adjective. Number 6, to transact business in an organization was an adverb. And number 7, there are 2 of them, to reserve a seat is a noun. Who wants what? To reserve a seat. And then to arrive at the auditorium an hour early is another noun. Nice, those are a little tricky, so I hope you notice those 2 things. And that's in a positive renaming the plan for after the linking verb should plan. Okay, so let's go ahead and anybody have let me ask you any questions with that before we move on? Are we okay with that? Okay, so I'm gonna mute you back. We're gonna move on to Antigone. So if you want to open up your literature books, page 324. Page 324 in literature today. Page 324. All right, I'm going to move over to PowerPoint. I'm going to close out the chat box, so I hope I don't have you need to chat. And I'll close out the muting you box so that we can get over here to what just happened with that? Oh, I made it too big. Okay. All right, so we saw the one about the characters. I wanted to introduce a little bit about the plot summary so you can understand a little bit what's going on with the plot summary. And then tomorrow we'll listen to scene 1.
Let's review the plot summary of Sophocles and Antigone.
I, for some reason, not saying not to share that. So let me try it again and come in again and see if that'll work better the second time. Might not be liking my videos since I'm just like linking them from YouTube.
Let's review the plot summary of Sophocles and Antigone. In the introduction to it,
All right, I'm going to unmute all of you guys so that you can. I don't think that's mine. But for some reason, this is not liking that video. Are you guys seeing the video when I start it? Yeah, it keeps saying not to share that one. And I think that maybe it's just not happy with my. You know, maybe I need to just copy it again and see if I can go straight to YouTube.
Yeah, it's not gonna apply then.
let's review the plot summary of Sophocles and Antigone. In the introduction to Antigone, Thebes has been invaded by Argos. During the battle, 2 of Oedipus's sons died fighting on opposite sides. Eteocles for Thebes.
All right, is that working better, everybody?
Yeah, we can hear it.
All right, good. You can see it?
rising action of the play, Antigone is enraged at Creon's proclamation that Polynices is not to receive a burial or funeral rites, while Eteocles is to be given an honorable funeral. Creon has also decreed that anyone who interferes with this law will be publicly stoned to death. Antigone claims that Creon's law is unjust, since the gods decree that every mortal must be given a proper funeral. She tells Ismene that she plans to bury their brother's body and give him his funeral rites, even if she's punished. Ismene refuses to help, fearing Creon's punishment. She reminds Antigone that their family has suffered enough tragedy. Antigone disagrees, claiming not to care if she's punished. She would welcome death in exchange for standing up for her beliefs. Guards catch Antigone when she revisits the grave she's prepared for her brother. Brought before Creon, she freely admits what she's done and welcomes punishment. She defends her actions by claiming she has honored the gods, whose laws are more important than mortal laws. Creon is enraged at her defiance and confirms her death sentence, even though she's engaged to his son, the king. Ismene lies to Creon, claiming to be her sister's accomplice. Creon declares that he'll have them both killed, but Antigone refutes Ismene's story. Heman tells Creon that he loves him, but disagrees with Antigone's punishment, as does most of the viewers, who view Antigone as a hero and martyr. They argue heatedly. Then Heman disowns Creon and warns him that Antigone's death will result in another death. Antigone laments that she'll never wed and that she'll die alone, friendless, and without help. Creon has her led away to be entombed alive in a cave. The blind prophet Tiresias arrives and warns Creon that he saw in a prophecy that the gods are furious with him. He urges Creon to free Antigone before it's too late. Creon is outraged at Tiresias' advice, accusing him of taking a bribe. In retaliation, Tiresias tells him now it's too late. Creon will be punished by having his son taken away from him. Creon realizes that Tiresias is serious and acts quickly to do as he advised. In the play's climax, a messenger arrives at the palace and announces that Heman killed himself after he found Antigone hanging from a noose in the cave. Creon had arrived at the cave just in time to witness his ceremony, and he's inconsolable. Creon's wife Eurydice emerges from the palace to hear the messenger's story, then returns to the palace in silence. A distraught Creon returns, carrying Heman's corpse. The messenger emerges from the palace and informs Creon that Eurydice has killed herself. In the play's falling action, Creon is miserable, finally realizing he's brought all of his tragedy on himself. In the play's resolution, the chorus sings an ode about the importance of obeying the gods and staying humble in order to gain wisdom.
All right, so that is what we're going to be reading about over the next couple of days. At least that's our goal anyways. I'm going to mute all of you. So that's what we're going to read through. So before we close today, I want to mention to you that today your job is to read page 324 to page 325. So just this opening ode. All right, so stop at the second episode. All right, I'm sorry, I'll mute you all back. All right, so we're just going to read the choral ode. That's your homework. But before we walk away today, I would like to maybe take some, let you choose which character you would like to be. So who would like to be Antigone? She's like the main character. Would any of you like to be Antigone? Yes? No?
Yes, I can be Antigone.
All right, Elizabeth. All right, so Elizabeth, you'll be Antigone. Who would like to be her sister, Ismene? Is that you, Yana?
Yeah, Yana.
All right, I'll let you be her sister. You're going to be Ismene when we do some reading together. All right, who would like to be Creon? That's a gentleman. Creon. Andrew, James, Venetius. Daniel. All right, Daniel. Who would like to be Eurydice? This is Creon's wife to Daniel. Anyone? Need a girl. Let's see. Janice, you're the next girl in line in my frames. Would you like to be Eurydice?
Okay.
Okay, all right, Janice. And then I have Haman, that's Creon's son, who'd like to be Daniel's son. All right, Andrew, that sounds befitting. Tiresias, the blind prophet. We'd like to be a blind prophet. I feel like that's Venetius's role. All right, Venetius. All right, awesome. Okay, so then I need a messenger. Who'd like to be a messenger? I got James left over and Abby. Which one would you like to be a messenger? All right, Abby. Okay, Abby. All right. And then James, that gives you the chorus, and all the other people when they show up on other class days. So we'll put you, Mateus, Bianna, Jared, and John will be the chorus. You'll sing the odes at the end and give us the sad declaration of truth when it comes. All right, so tonight, you guys need to read the choral ode. It's going to give you a little more of the introductory summary that I kind of gave you a little bit, kind of setting up the play. And when we come in tomorrow, we're going to start with our second episode. We're going to start reading through that. Actually, we're going to need a guard. James, I'm going to give you the guard's role tomorrow, so it starts with the guard. It's not one of the main characters, so it's a small role that pops up every once in a while. Mostly when you're taking Antigone to the cave, so she can hang herself there, and everybody else dying afterwards. All right, so while we're here, last thing today, you want to highlight a couple things. Highlight Antigone and Ismene on page 324. You'll need to know this for our future literature quiz. You need to know that these are sisters. They are sisters, and they are the daughters of Oedipus. All right, he was the former king of Thebes before Creon. So Antigone and Ismene, they're sisters, and they're the daughters of the former king. Now Creon, he's actually the king right now, so highlight Creon. Oh, I think I might have lost my class time. Hey, how are you doing? Good. Okay.